December 1923. Almina leaves Highclere, not dramatically, not with a scandal. She packs her suitcases, gets into the car, and drives away. The house she saved now belongs to her son. The room she furnished now belong to her daughter-in-law. And Almina? She is 47 years old. She has a new husband. And she perhaps believes this is a new beginning. But it is not a new beginning. It is the beginning of the end. It began with Almina before Highclere, with £84 million dowry, with a name that resonated in every room that everyone knew. And now, 28 years later, she leaves this house without a place, without power, without security. The question is, how does a story end that began with so much money? And what remains of a woman who gave everything and yet was not allowed to keep anything? To understand that, we must follow Almina to the end, not to a happy ending, but to Bristol, to a terraced house, without title, without money. Almina marries again. Lieutenant Colonel Ian Onslow Dennistoun, Grenadier Guards, divorced, asthmatic. He is not rich, he is not powerful, but he gives Almina something she never had at Highclere, a place that belongs to her. First, they live on the Isle of Wight, later in London. And here Almina does something she has always done. She works, but not for a castle, for herself. Almina opens a private hospital in London, Alfred House Mayfair, a noble address that guarantees discretion. It is not an ordinary hospital. It is a place where the upper class is treated discreetly. Almina works there herself. She organizes, she pays. It reminds her of the war, of Highclere as a hospital. For her, it is a memory of a time when she was needed. But there is a problem. Almina lives beyond her means. Alfred de Rothschild, her father and supporter, is dead, 1918. His money is gone. George Edward, her first husband, is dead, 1923. His support, even if only the name, is gone. And Almina? She spends money as if she still had £84 million. 1925. High Court of Justice, London. The case. Dennistoun versus Dennistoun. Ian Dennistoun's ex-wife, Dorothy, sues him. What it's about? Alimony. When Ian and Dorothy divorced, Ian had no money. He promised, "Later, when I can." And then he marries Almina. And Dorothy thinks, now he has money. Now he can pay. And the trial becomes a scandal. The press reports daily. They talk about Almina's fortune, about her origins, about Rothschild. And the verdict? The court decides Ian does not have to pay, but the damage is irrevocably done. Almina's name appears in the newspapers, not as Countess, not as savior of Highclere, but as the rich woman who helps her new husband out of trouble. 1938. Ian Dennistoun dies. Asthma. Poor health. He turns 60 years old. Almina is now 62, widowed twice. Alfred de Rothschild, dead. George Edward, dead. Ian Dennistoun, dead. The men who secured her socially are gone. And Almina? She continues to live as if nothing had changed. Alfred House, her hospital, continues for a while. But it costs more than it brings in. Eventually, she has to close it. She rents a house in Regent's Park to live there. But the bills pile up. In 1943, she moves to a cottage in Somerset. It is smaller and more modest, but she still lives beyond her means. And then, in 1951, comes the moment no one expects. Almina is declared bankrupt. The woman who saved Highclere with £84 million has no money left. After bankruptcy, Almina sells her cottage. She moves to Bristol, not to a castle, not to a noble townhouse, to a terraced house. She lives there with her housekeeper, Anne Ledbetter. Her son, the 6th Earl of Carnarvon, supports her financially, but he does not bring her back to Highclere. She is no longer the Countess, she is the mother of the Earl, and the mother lives in Bristol. May 8, 1969. Almina dies. She is 92 years old. She does not die in Highclere. She does not die in Mayfair. She dies in a terraced house in Bristol, far away from the house she saved, without the title she bore, without the money she once had. So, what remains of Almina? Highclere still stands, magnificent and famous throughout the world. Millions know it from Downton Abbey, but very few know who saved it. Very few know that without Almina's £84 million, it might no longer be standing. Very few know that the woman who transformed it into a hospital during the First World War died, in the end, in a terraced house. This is the truth about large houses. They take what they need, and when they no longer need it, they forget. Almina gave Highclere the money it needed. She gave it the shine it displayed. She held it when it could have collapsed. And in the end, she did not even have a room there. This is not a romantic story. This is the story of a woman who did everything right, and yet lost everything. Not because she failed, but because she knew too much, because she was too visible, because she reminded them that Highclere ever needed to be saved. And large houses do not forgive that.